All right, today we're going to talk about our box plots. So when we do box plots, we use the 5-number summary so we can create the box plots. And for the 5-number summary, it consists of the minimum, the first quartile, which it will sometimes abbreviated to Q1, the median, which is the middle number, the number in the middle, third quartile, or Q3, and the maximum. So the median, we've talked about that before. Since it's the middle number, it divides a set into 2 equal parts. And the data can then be subdivided even further, so you have 4 equal parts, and those are called quartiles, so like a quarter. The quartiles divide the data into into quarters, with each quarter containing 1/4 or 25% of the data. The first quartile, Q1, is sometimes called the lower quartile. So this would be the lower quartile here. The third quartile, Q3, is sometimes called the upper quartile. The median is sometimes called the second quartile, or Q2. And then the quartiles are like additional medians of the lower and upper halves. So of this portion, this half, this would be the median, Q1 would be the middle of that. And then for this part, Q3 would be the middle or the median of that section. A quartile is a number. It is not a range of values, so it's an actual number or the value of what that is. Data can be described as being above or below the first quartile, but data is never in the first quartile. So go ahead. I already kind of was showing you some of the information as we were talking about it, but label your graph with the 5-number summary. So again, you have your box. For the box plot, sometimes you'll hear it called the box and whiskers, because these are the whiskers. The first part, or the lowest part, is called the minimum. Then you have another point, which is your Q1, or your first quartile. Then within the box, these are your quartiles, Q1, Q3, you have your median. So your median will be listed there. And then in this case, your median would be 4, since that's the label there. And then your third quartile would be 6. And then it extends out to the maximum number, which would be 9. So minimum was 2. First quartile is 3. So you can get all this information just from looking at your 5-number summary. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a box plot using this information here. Now I already kind of labeled it for you a little bit, but I'm also going to show you something else. So what I first did is, if the numbers aren't already, if you're doing this by hand, you want to order it from least to greatest, and that makes it a lot easier when you're organizing the data. So the lowest number is going to be your minimum. And then that's going to be your point. You could put a line or you could put a little dot there, whichever fits, but this would be your minimum or the smallest value. Your first quartile is if you were to ignore this part and just look here, this would be the middle number of this first half of the data values. So in this case, we've got 24, 32, 25, 30. So our middle is 26 and 27. So we have to find the middle between 26 and 27, which is 26.5. And then I showed you my work over here for that. Your median is the middle number of all the value sets, or all the data values, excuse me. And so again, the middle is between 32 and 40, so you have to add those together, divide by 2, and you'll get 36. The third quartile is, again, if we were to ignore this part and only look here, the third quartile would be the median of the second half of the data value, or the data points. So again, it would be in between 50 and 52. So you add those together, divide by 2, and you get 51. And then the maximum is the largest. So when you put it together, your quartiles are where your box goes around. Your median is going to be where the middle line is. And then these extend here and extend here. And so all I did was just match up the values with the points here. Now typically they are drawn horizontally, which is what we have here, but they could also be drawn vertically like that. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to create a box and whisker plot using this data. So I drew a number line for you, so you can draw a number line on your paper. And you need to make sure you label the minimum, which is the smallest number, your first quartile, which is the median of the first half, your median, the third quartile is the median of the second half, and then your max is the largest number. So go ahead and I want you to do that, and then I'm actually going to show you something cool, because you can do this on Desmos also. So when you log into Desmos and you're making your box plot, if you notice, I created the box plot right here. So what I did, you have to do this on Desmos, is you're going to go through, and you can pick whatever letter you want. I just picked A, and you're going to do equals. You're going to do a bracket, and then you're going to list all the values in your set here, and it kind of ran off, but I have all 12 listed. And then once you're done here, you would draw another parenthesis around there. And then after you're done, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Oops. This one. Okay. So then once you're done, you're going to go here, because I've got all my points listed. Is this the same one? Oops, no, I think I was doing a different problem for you. Yeah, I think I was doing a different problem for you. Okay, so yeah, because that's got 28 elements. We don't want that. Oh, let me do Control Z. Oh, sorry, technical difficulties. All right, let me go back. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so anyways, I've got my 12 values here. So now, once you go through, make sure you put a bracket at the end also, okay? And then you're going to get your values. Oh, hold on, my computer's being weird. Control Z to get those values back. Okay, there we go. Back on track. Okay, my mouse is being kind of weird. Okay, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. So now that we have this equaled and we've got our bracket around all our data values, now we're going to come down here. We're going to go to Functions. And you're going to scroll until you see visualizations. You could do histogram. It's very similar. We're going to do the box plot. So, and you can do a dot plot. So we're going to do the box plot. So for our box plot, we said all this data was in set A. So all you got to do is just type A. So oops. Why is this not working? Okay, well, sorry, technical difficulties. But anyways, that's what you would do. And right now, this is not being very nice to me. So we will curse Desmos. Let's see, try it again. There he goes. Okay, so it wasn't working for some reason. Don't know. And so anyways, now that we got that, it's pretty cool. And my daughter keeps texting me. And you've got all of this right here. All right, so now I'm going to go back, go here, and this is what the picture should have been. Like I said, I was having technical difficulties, so this is what it should be. So that's pretty cool. So now we're going to go through and we're going to talk about the different parts of it. So within it, you have measures of spread, you have your range, which is your largest minus the smallest. You have your interquartile range, or IQR, and that's the range of the middle 50%. That's the box part. So you can find that by doing Q1 from Q3 minus Q1. And so you would take those two and subtract them. All right. So also, when you're looking here, you have the box plot below to answer the following question. So remember we said it's divided into fourths. So here's 1/4, which is 25%. From Q1 to the Q2 or the median, that's another 25%. And then from the median to Q3 is 25%. And from Q3 to your max is 25%. So it's divided into 4 parts. And then what you can do is you can find the values of the 5-number summary just by looking at your values here. All right, and so the max score is the largest score, which is here. The IQR is where you take Q3 and Q1 and subtract them. We got 35. What percentage of the bowlers got above a score above 85? So if you look here, your score, 85, is right here. So we've got 25 plus another 25 plus another 25, which is 75%. And what percentage of the bowlers got below a score of 100? Well, here's your 100. So for that, we got 25 plus another 25, which gives you 50. All right, so what I want you to do is you're going to go through, you're going to look at these 2 box plots, and you're going to answer the questions. So make sure you've got all the different parts, your 5-number summary, and then aside from my technical difficulties, you can do this on Desmos. Just make sure you have whatever set you have here is what you put in the parentheses here. And then it automatically does exclude outliers. You can do that or not, depending on what it's asked. But look at you can use Desmos to create your own 5-number summary. And that, is creating box plots.